Piracy. It's a concept that is a gray area, especially when it comes to video games. Something companies hate and some people see as necessary. For all two of the people watching this who don't know, piracy is defined as downloading or distributing copyrighted content without paying for it, like music, movies, what I'm mainly going to be talking about in this video games. Both sides have their reasons as to what they think about piracy. In this video, I mainly want to address both sides of the piracy argument from an emulation perspective, because why the hell not? Yo, my name is Cade, and welcome to the first video on my new commentary channel. I'll talk about whatever comes to mind, so if you don't have anything else to do and want something to listen to, you're in the right place. Before I start this video, for legal reasons, I need to say that I do not promote or endorse any form of piracy. I'm also not showing anyone how to pirate anything. I'm only giving my thoughts on the situation and nothing more. First, I want to look at the side of people that say piracy is always bad, mainly companies. Looking at you, Nintendo, but then again, why would you listen to a YouTuber basically no subscribers? The main point that companies and their defenders roughly use is, we're protecting our IPs and want to give consumers the best avenue for accessing our content while supporting us. Which, fair. But where this falls apart is with retro content. Content's so old, companies don't even produce them anymore because it's not worth it in their eyes. And I don't blame them, most of the time. So what happens when consumers get nostalgic and want to relive older days? To demonstrate this, I'm going to make up an example. Let's say Arthur, as a child, plays a game like, I don't know, Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn. Right, there's a good time playing and enjoys every second of it. Then, when Arthur gets older, he hears the OST of Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn and wants to revisit one of the games that made his childhood. So he goes to his local GameStop, and unfortunately, they don't have Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn. He goes to another GameStop in area, and they don't have it either. So now, he looks up if any store sells Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, but no one close to him sells it. He sees if you can buy the game directly from Nintendo, but unfortunately it's not possible. As a final ditch effort, he goes to eBay and tries to see if anyone's selling the game. And they are! For $130 plus. Do you see the problem here? Unless you got a same person isn't paying $130 for a 16-year-old game for the Wii. That's probably at most $60 on release. I would say this is one of the main reasons that some people started looking at piracy as an option. Scalpers. Scalpers take advantage of the nostalgia factor and overcharge people just to make some quick cash. But hey, if you would pay $130+ for Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn because it's that good of a game, you're an idiot in my eyes. I'm sorry. No matter how nostalgic a game makes you, you should never fall into a scalper's trap. If it was me, I would much rather pirate a game and get it for free than pay a scalper hundreds of dollars to relive my childhood. But why can scalpers oversell their products and get away with it? Well, it's mainly because companies aren't producing the games or giving a legal way to buy the games. Now, I don't want to turn this video into a whole thing criticizing Nintendo, but as far as I'm concerned, they're the main example of this. Nintendo doesn't care for its retro content most of the time, but the company closing down shops for their older consoles and ending production of their older games, Nintendo doesn't provide people with a viable way to access their legacy content. Besides Nintendo Switch Online, but who's buying it for that? It's fucking terrible, like, come on now. And this makes people who are longing to play their legacy content start looking towards piracy, which Nintendo hates. But they can't be mad, they did it to themselves. And for someone makes the argument that, you're making the company lose out on money! Yeah, sure. The company that made $14 billion last year is losing out on revenue from a game they are no longer selling. I'm sure me pirating a game they no longer make is making them lose out on money. When I think of piracy, I think of a quote by Valve President Gabe Newell. One thing that we have learned is that piracy is not a pricing issue, it's a service issue. The easiest way to stop piracy is not by putting anti-piracy technology to work, it's by giving those people a service that's better than what they're receiving from the pirates. This is why I respect companies like Sony, Microsoft, and Valve. Sony was about to close on the PlayStation Store for PlayStation 3 and Vita, but didn't after hearing fans saying they want to be able to access retro content. Hell, I could go on the PlayStation Store on my PC and buy Final Fantasy VII Persona 3. They used to have PS Now, but we don't talk about the fact they merged it with PS Plus Premium, and let's be real, no one's gonna pay $120 a year for that. Microsoft has Xbox Game Pass. You can pay $15 a month for access to classic games like 1993 Doom, the first Goat Simulator, the first Gears of War, and Rare Replay. And Valve sells their classic games on their platform, Steam. Thanks, Gabe! When companies give ways to let people enjoy their classics, everyone wins and piracy isn't needed. Mostly. Now, piracy can be seen as a necessary evil, but there can be some people who pirate games out of spite, which takes the necessary part out completely. Now, I get it, you may not like a company. Hell, I don't like Nintendo for what they do to their consumers on a regular basis and their over-exercising of their legal rights. And I don't like Apple for their outrageous prices for their products and the way they're trying to make Android appear inferior to them. Well, that's a story for another time. But I like the games Nintendo makes, not the legal decisions they make. And I can separate art from the artist. If you want to justify your reason for pirating games as, I don't like the way the new game looks, or I don't want to support the company, you're part of the reason why piracy looked at the way it is. You do realize there are better ways to not support a company, right? Here's a thing you might have heard in a high school history class you've forgotten about. Boycotting. Don't buy their products and inform people about the negative stuff they had done in an effort to get them to change whatever they need to change. And for those that will say, but didn't you say the company made $14 billion? A boycott wouldn't affect them, you idiot. Yeah, you're likely right about that, but it's better than ruining the moral integrity of piracy for other people who have valid reasons. If a company is given enough backlash from the consumers, they will be forced to listen or suffer the losses, like how I mentioned Sony earlier. So this has been my take on piracy. I personally think that if a company doesn't provide a legal way to access their content, piracy is a necessary evil if used in the morally right way. Because fuck copyright. And doing it because you don't like the company who made it is the reason why piracy is looked at in a negative light. Piracy may be illegal and looked down upon, but if you look into why that is, you may see that it's misrepresented to a fault. That's all for this video, everyone. If you liked it, be sure to like and subscribe for more future videos like these. Let me know what you think about piracy in the comments, and until the next video, Yeetus to fetus, I'm out of here.